30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and young guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, first of all, it's a great day. It's the Thursday as we begin college football, and that right there is something very cool. There are about 5 or 6 halfway decent games tonight, so stay tuned because we'll talk a little bit about them before it's all over. We are at the beautiful Ford Ice Center, our new digs out in Bellevue. And we begin, given the fact that we are in football, with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. And in this case, it's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up at 615-969-4350. Let's bring in Terry McCormick from Main Street Media. Terry, what is going on out at Robert Brazil land?
I thought you'd like that, George.
Very nice.
Well, they've been busy making a lot of moves the last day or so. Told you yesterday that they had claimed a cornerback. I believe I told you that they had claimed a cornerback off waivers from the Bears, a guy named Kendall Vildor. And then today they added another guy from Chicago, and that is outside linebacker Trevis Gibson, who 2 years ago had 7 sacks. And then when Matt Eberflus came in to be the new head coach, they went from a 4-3 or from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and he got a little lost in the shuffle, having to play out of position last year. He was let go in the final cuts this year, and the Titans went and grabbed him.
So, Terry, I'll ask it again. I did this yesterday. Are they done making moves, or do you think there's more coming?
I think they're probably done for a little bit. Trying to get settled in. They also brought back Corey Levin, who they let go yesterday. They put Kyle Phillips on injured reserve. And so that means he's going to miss the first 4 games. And then they let go of Justin Murray probably because of the reemergence of Dylan Radens, who can give them that third tackle if they need it.
So nothing in the blockbuster category, or at least we don't think so.
No, nothing yet. But, lots of little moves to kind of flesh out the bottom of the roster and to try and make sure that their depth is a little stronger. Because, George, this team right now, believe it or not, is carrying 11 rookies. Can you imagine 20% of their roster is rookies? And I think some of that is simply the fact that they didn't get enough production out of the draft classes of 2020 and 2021, groups that should now be making up a lot of the core of this team, especially as it relates to not only starters, but also depth. So they're having to go younger and going with 5 undrafteds to go along with their 6-man draft class.
Well, what you're really getting at, Terry, if the truth be known, when you miss 2 years in a row on a first-round draft pick, you're screwed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're probably the only saving grace out of that probably is the fact that they did not pick a quarterback in those 2 years. If they had gone high with a quarterback and missed there, then it would really look bad. But as it is, they're still chasing a right tackle. They're still chasing a cornerback in terms of, somebody who could come in and be a day one starter. Maybe they filled that with Sean Murphy-Bunting. Maybe they filled the tackle spot with Chris Hubbard or Dylan Radens, who actually was a 2021 second-round pick. pans out at right tackle, then perhaps, they can salvage something of it. But really, all they have to show from the 2020 season, from the draft class, is Christian Fulton and Tierre Tart, who was an undrafted, and then a couple of guys like Aaron Brewer, Nick Westbrook-Akina. And then out of the 2021 class, the only guy that stands out really is Rashad Weaver, and he's really the third end or the third outside linebacker, I should say, behind Harold Landry and Arden Key.
Yep. That's what happens when your draft classes aren't any good. So, Terry, let me ask this. Do they let the players out of there this weekend? Because this is the last chance for a while that they've got some time.
It looks like that they'll, take a little bit of a weekend off and then come back next week and start going full bore in preparation for the Saints. And then we're off and running.
Okay. Good stuff. We'll talk again tomorrow, Terry, in your case, at 3:05. Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, and I'll explain that 3:05 in a moment, is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. Dial Lori up at 615-969-4350. Tomorrow, our show will originate from Nashville Christian, not far from here, about a mile and a half away. And we will do our show from their auditorium. The first hour will be high school football exclusively. The 3 o'clock hour will have some very good Titans. It will have a little tail of the tape and plaster bets of the day. A lot happening. Let's bring in Kelly Holcomb from Murfreesboro. Mr. Positive, how are you?
George, being positive today, man.
Are we growing?
Always. No, I just hadn't shaved.
Just hadn't shaved. Okay.
Yeah.
So big controversy today on the show.
What's happening?
Well, as you know, we will have underdog picks at 3 o'clock. The panel this year will include you, me, Willie, and Greg Pogue, formerly known as Pogu.
Poggy's on here. So we got Willie. So we're on Willie's deal, and now Willie's coming on our, and he's going to actually get some skin in the game instead of being a commissioner like he is on his show, which I've tried for several years to get him impeached, but it hasn't happened.
No, you have tried. I will say that. And I've a couple of times recommended that your recommendation be listened to. Here's the problem. Okay. At this very moment, Billy is an interim commissioner. Between now and 3 o'clock, do we remove the tag or not?
I say you're probably going to have to remove it, George. I mean, he can't be interim unless you're going to bring an outside source in. And I think Billy would get butthurt if you did that. I think he really would. I think he would get really insecure about himself a little bit. He would have some security issues,
self-esteem issues.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I think you probably just need to go ahead and remove the interim and just say he's going to be the commissioner, which he'd probably be better than Willie, but we'll see.
Billy, your reaction?
Man, I'm honored that I cannot believe Kelly would have just come out and said that. I thought he would have said, "Get Billy the heck out of here."
Nah, we'll give you a shot, dog, but you don't have a very long leash.
No, absolutely not. You'll learn that very quickly. So ultimately, Kelly, I have the final decision in this.
Well, you've made that apparent for weeks now. We know you're the producer. We get it. We know you're the guy. We understand that. Let's move on.
The guy.
I'm the George Steinbrenner of this operation.
I think that's the way you're trying to.
No.
You're trying to head that way. George Steinbrenner.
We'll make an announcement right at 3 o'clock, one way or the other. I'll take into consideration Pogu and Willie's opinions, as obviously as well as yours. Billy, is there an update in our future?
There is. And do y'all realize that tonight marks the first of 5 straight days of college football?
Yes.
I cannot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't believe it. It hasn't sunk in yet. It probably
Hold on,
will
let me
tonight.
do that to the camera.
It probably will tonight. Florida at Utah. Utah is now just a 5-point favorite with Cam Rising out, and their backup is out. They're expected to start third string Bryson Barnes. So,
Wow.
Gators. Can you call the Gators tonight, George? I mean, I don't see Utah
No.
coming in. You still don't believe in the Gators?
No.
Yeah, but they're playing their third string quarterback, George.
Yeah, I mean, come on. How much worse does it have to get for the Utes?
Utah.
Is that going to be one of your picks, Big Dog, at the end? We'll just have to see.
Hold on a second. Let me
You already forget your pick?
no, I had it on this sheet of paper. As a matter of fact, it will be a pick.
Oh,
Yes. Okay. Utah. The Utes.
Did I win last night?
you did.
Yeah. What's my record?
I don't even know.
Yeah. You don't want to know. So is there an update in our future?
There is. Why do you keep asking that? Nebraska at Minnesota tonight as well at 7, and South Dakota at Missouri. So those are the other two.
And this is not the good South Dakota.
No, this is the minor league South Dakota. You're not playing South Dakota State. I don't know anything about South Dakota. So also in the NFL, Vikings.
Well, I know they play Missouri.
Yeah, they do play Missouri.
And it's on the SEC network at 7.
Good job,
Yeah.
George. Way to keep up.
I might skip that one.
TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings has signed a 4-year, $68.5 million contract extension that resets the tight end market.
That's what I was about to say. For a tight end, he's getting paid that?
There are some pissed off running backs.
Seriously.
Source told Adam Schefter that the deal's average annual value is $17 million, and he'll make $42.5 guaranteed, both the highest for a tight end in NFL history. I think he deserves it.
I know he's good. Is he that good?
With what the Vikings do, he's been a pretty big part of.
Okay, let me ask it this way. If you went down the list of tight ends in the NFL, Kelly, would he have been number 1 on your list?
Oh, no. But he's up there. I mean, he's a really good player. He's a really good player, but that's kind of crazy, George.
Oh,
I've never, of course, it's historic because he's the first guy making that money as a tight end. That's kind of crazy. That just shows you about your collusion deal with these running backs. You see where things are going.
Oh, they're colluding. There's no question.
Back to college football real quick, and Nicole Auerbach's reporting that the ACC president's meeting that was delayed this week by the UNC shooting has been rescheduled for tomorrow morning. So, I mean, my guess is they could have a decision on Cal, Stanford, and SMU as early as tomorrow morning, unless it gets delayed again and you don't get another decision.
Do you want the inside dope?
What's the inside?
I think they already know.
You think that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I mean, it's about time.
And if they already know, then Cal and Stanford and SMU are headed somewhere else. However, I've been wrong before. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but
oh gosh.
But it has happened.
It's funny.
The Oilers are never coming here.
And here they are.
It's funny. There aren't
Hell
a lot
will
of
freeze over.
There aren't a lot of other stories out there.
Oh,
We're just
there's
waiting
one
for
big
football.
one. There's one huge one.
What's the big one?
NFL lost one of its absolute giants today with the passing of Gil Brandt. I mean, Gil Brandt is as NFL and as Dallas Cowboys
America's
as
team
it gets.
Yeah.
Great man. Watson Brown texting earlier that Gil Brandt was a huge help in him getting both the Cincinnati and the Rice positions. Gil Brandt, 91 years old.
Wow. Crazy, man. You're hearing that stuff all the time now, though. I mean, it's just, it's like every day somebody's passing away that's significant. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
That's all I got, George.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. How do we rate that update? Kelly, was it enough to make him a commissioner?
It was kind of sketchy, George. I mean, there wasn't much meat on the bone. I think that was worse than the other day when he said there was a lot of meat on the bone. Good gracious, dude. What are we doing? I mean, are we doing any homework at nighttime? What are we doing?
What do you – I mean, there's nothing – there's not much news going on. We're just waiting on football.
Can we get some golf stuff, some tennis stuff, or maybe some Lionel Messi stuff? I don't know.
Here is some news, okay? We have this soundbite from former Notre Dame football coach Lou Holtz talking about this week's opponent, the Big Blue Fighting Tigers of Tennessee State University. Coach?
Fellas, they're a really good football team coming in here. They got a good running back. They got a good offensive line. They can move the ball. Defensively, they're not scared to bring guys. So it's going to be a tough contest for us. We've got to play really well. We're going to be in front of our fans. We've got a big advantage, but it's going to be a tough one.
Did you all consider playing the game at TSU?
Well, we actually considered it, and then I woke up and I rolled over and I said, "No, we're not doing that, son."
Thank you, Coach Holtz.
You're welcome, son. Anything else you need, just call my secretary. She'll give it to you.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about that. You don't have a secretary anymore. When we come back, Chris Lee from Southeastern 14, VandySports.com, will join us. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming up, not only for the Commodores, but the rest of the SEC. Stick around. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen printed t-shirts, laser engraved Yelly cups, and knives. Recognize your hardworking team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Okay, we are back on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Football season really starting to kick into gear. We've got 5 or 6 good college games tonight, some more tomorrow night, full slate on Saturday, including Tennessee and Virginia over at Nissan Stadium. We have asked Chris Lee, Southeastern 14 and VandySports.com, to join us by phone. Chris, how are you?
I'm not sure why we're not getting Chris.
Okay.
We're gonna reconnect here.
Let's give that one a shot. And I'll tell you what, while we're at it, Billy, if you have the ability to put the graphic up there for what goes on in September, go ahead and do it. And Kelly and I will talk for a second.
In September?
Yeah.
What graphic?
The graphic of Vandy's schedule in September.
Oh, don't have that, George.
Okay, do we have Chris?
Not sure. I'm not sure why Chris is not coming in. My apologies, George.
Okay. Well, this should be a good first hour. So, Kelly, the point that I made on their schedule, they've got Alabama A&M. This is Vandy Saturday, so they had better go 2-0.
Correct.
They go to Wake Forest next week. They go to UNLV the week after. Then home games against Kentucky and Missouri to round out September. So my theory is they better be 4-2 at the end of September if they're going anywhere.
I think they've got an excellent shot to do that. 4-2, 5-1. I mean, they beat Kentucky last year. They beat Missouri before. So this one is a kind of a recovery game, if you want to say, against Hawaii. Alabama A&M has no shot probably. So yeah, I think you're right, George. I want to ask Chris too when he gets on. Well, what is the kind of feeling in the building after the Hawaii game? I don't know.
Let's just start with that because Chris is on the line with us. Chris, if you were able to hear Kelly's question, take it away.
Yeah, can you guys hear me this time?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
sure can.
Perfect. Sorry about that. I don't know what the issue was, but I think, I haven't asked around what the feeling in the building is, but I think you can tell what the feeling in the building is. Well, I do know a little bit, but just watch the press conferences with Clark Lee. It feels like we've had 2 with him now, one after the game and then one on Tuesday. If you did not know any better, you would have thought they lost that game. And I think that tells you a lot about how they processed it.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Well, yeah, I just was wondering. I mean, is it a feeling that because it's just a different feeling for me from Vandy? They're going to be better. They look better on the field, but you got to give it to Hawaii. Hawaii's better than they were last year. And, they were trying to, they didn't, I don't know if they thought they were going to win the game, but they thought they had a shot. But last year they go to, they play at home and they get waxed by Vandy. So I'm just thinking, it just feels different to me about Vanderbilt. And I'm just wondering, like, is everybody saying, well, it's the same old Vanderbilt, or is this a different deal? And I think people have to understand also that Hawaii was better. I mean, they were better. And I think the weather played a little part in it because I told George the other day, I had the deal where if it started raining as a quarterback, that's the worst thing for me. So I thought both the quarterbacks for both teams, A.J. Swan and the kid from Hawaii, played really good. But what is their feeling of? Is it kind of a downer feeling, or are they feeling positive still?
Well, first of all, Kelly, I agree with all your takes there. I think they're still upbeat about things. I still feel like they think they're going to have a good season. I don't think that's going to get obliterated just in one game, which, again, was a win. I don't think that all their offseason confidence, and there was a lot of it, is just going to dissipate like that. Now, look, I think it's Billy Derrick that said this on our Vandy podcast that we did on Wednesday. He said, I think you're going to be able to tell more about this Vandy team, maybe by how Hawaii plays Stanford than how Vanderbilt plays Alabama A&M. I think that's a good point. So I'll have kind of an eye on that to see how good Hawaii is. I think Hawaii has improved. How much, I would really like to know. But, yeah, I think that they still see this as a path for a good season going forward. I think that they feel like a lot of the things that went wrong are correctable. I don't know that I completely agree with them on that, but we're about to find out.
What was Coach Lee's biggest disappointment in the game? What did he harp on the most?
I don't know that he harped on any one thing the most. I mean, the pass defense was a topic. That was something that was a topic all off season. I think the thing that was kind of alarming, though, and if it was alarming for me, I'm sure it was alarming for him, their offensive line played poorly. And I don't have a good reason for that. Hawaii is not a team that is going to top the charts with NFL caliber defensive linemen. This was a place where Vanderbilt's experienced. It had 4 returning starters. It's got a third-year center. It's got a left tackle that they really like and think can play in the league. I think, to me, I don't know that he ever addressed that, but to me, I think the offensive line and how poorly it played would have to be something that troubled him. But I think they think that's fixable, and we're going to see.
Got you. So me being a quarterback, this is the last thing I got to ask you. So me being a quarterback, what were your thoughts on A.J. Swan? Obviously, he played a little last year, but he looked really good to me.
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. I've been high on him for a while. I think he's a kid who can play at the next level. I think the thing with A.J. Swan that you saw, if you want to find a couple of negatives, he's got to be a little more careful with the ball. Almost had a couple of picks. That's a little bit of a tendency of his. He's got a lot of arm talent and a lot of confidence, and sometimes you will see him take some liberties with that. He didn't really pay for those against Hawaii, but I think there's some other teams that can make him pay on the schedule going forward if that doesn't get corrected.
Chris, one of the things, I'll go to a positive for a second. It has been a while since it looks to me that Vandy has the kind of wide receiver depth that they have, and they've got some people that can get some separation, and that has not always been the case.
This is the best receiving room they've had since they had Jordan Matthews, Chris Boyd, and Jonathan Krause. And I'm not saying this bunch is better, but I will tell you where it's different. I don't know that there's a Jordan Matthews in that bunch, although Will Shepard is awfully good. But I think when they get down to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deep in that room, I think it is a definitely better room than that one. How much your 6th, 7th, and 8th receivers help you. There's diminishing returns there unless you have some injuries. But, yeah, I would agree with you. I think that is the group that I thought was the best group coming out of camp, and I think they backed that up in the opener.
So I was talking before you got on. It seems to me I didn't realize how obvious it was until I was doing some of the prep work on this. Their September schedule, it looks to me, well, first of all, is really favorable. The SEC matchups are really favorable. Chris, to my way of thinking, they've got to be 4-2 at worst at the end of September.
Yes, if they're going to get to a bowl, I completely agree with that. I said going into the season, they weren't going to be 7-0, but it felt like there's 7 games that you could make a case that they could win all of them, either based on the fact that they would be favored in those games, or the fact that they either won those games a year ago, or in the case of the Missouri game, they were really close. That Missouri game was down to the last minute, 2 minutes, and was a field goal or less game. So, yeah, I think that's the one thing that a lot of people circled going in. I will be interested to see how some of those other teams look this weekend, because my take on how winnable those games are could change, although maybe not too much, because I don't know that you see any of the teams that are head next on their schedule, other than Florida, playing anything other than a pushover. So maybe we don't really learn anything for a while. But going into the season, those certainly look like some opportunities.
What do they really get out of Alabama A&M as far as, I mean, we all expect they're going to win and they're going to be 2-0, but do you learn anything really out of this one?
Well, what they get is probably another win towards bowl eligibility. What they get out of this, probably an opportunity to motivate kids a little bit more, to motivate an offensive line a little bit more, to urge people to play better on a stage where the stakes aren't as high as they're going to be next week against Wake Forest. To me, what I'm watching for, George, is I don't think that you learn a lot about a team just beating the pulp out of a team that it should do that to. I think where you get your lessons are in the way of, okay, they weren't good on the offensive line a week ago. They weren't good in pass coverage a week ago. To me, if they're not if they don't dominate in those areas Saturday, I think you've got some very concerning questions to be asked going forward.
Well, let me try it this way. What buttons would he have to push if offensive line-wise they can't run the football?
Well, I guess the obvious button would be we've got some guys behind you, second, third-year players who can go in and replace you. But you would hope they don't get to that point because, again, cohesiveness on the offensive line, I think, is a big deal. And that was a recipe they had for success going into this year, is that you had 4 of the same 5 guys returning to start.
Let me shift gears for a minute. We're going to see Missouri tonight against South Dakota. Not that I'm watching that, but tell me what you think about Missouri. And I guess what I really like, I think they've got a terrific and a very underrated quarterback.
Yeah, I got asked on a podcast this summer, who did I think the most underrated team in the league was? And I answered Missouri, because it's not a team that it's at the forefront of everybody's conversations. It's got a small media market in terms of how many people are covering it. And it's not a really flashy offense. You like Brady Cook. They've got a guy behind him named Sam Horn, who's very talented. A lot of Missouri fans want to be their next guy. But, George, I think the thing about Missouri that I really like, their defense under Blake Baker got so much better a year ago after being awful in 2021. They return almost all of it. They return 4 starting guys in the secondary who are all pretty good players. They get a guy in Tyrod Hopper at linebacker back, who's one of the best in the conference. When that defense was good a year ago and most of it is back, that's something that got my notice. And to me, that is a reason why I think they're a team to watch.
Let me try another one on you, and that's South Carolina. I never thought I would use the word salary drive in college athletics, but that's exactly what happened with Spencer Rattler. He has monster games against Tennessee and against Clemson, and he parlayed that, I'm told, into close to $1 million to come back this year. What's your gut feeling about South Carolina?
They, to me, are one of the tougher teams to figure because the stats about them are just conflict each other left and right. And here's what I mean by that. The computers, I don't think any computers had them ranked in the top 25 last year, although the AP and ESPN both did. I think you look at the way they played last year. They were lights out against Tennessee and Clemson. I saw them against Vandy a couple weeks before that. They were very ordinary at best. Florida beat that team 38-6. They were not very good the first couple of months of the season, but my goodness, those last 3 games, including a loss to Notre Dame, they were really good. And that's why you've got optimism around that program this year. But I think some things that I'm concerned with, they don't have much of a running game. The running back room is kind of thin and unproven. The offensive line has got some pieces, I think, that they put together through the transfer portal, so there's not a lot of continuity there. Defensively, they lost a couple of NFL defensive backs. And I think one thing about them a year ago is they were really turnover prone. They turned it over almost 3.5% of snaps. That's a really high rate. That's one reason Spencer Rattler got a lot of criticism to begin with. So I think there are some things there. If you believe in some stats, some reason to question some of the hype around them. But I think there's also reason to look at what they did at the end of the season and look at the way Shane Beamer has built that culture and had them playing in November and think, hey, maybe that is a carryover that sticks this time around.
You like Alabama or LSU more in the West?
I picked LSU, but how's this? I have Alabama going to the playoff and LSU winning the West. Degree of confidence in that, 0%.
I like that. You got any confidence in the Braves?
I've got a lot of confidence in the Braves, which scares me.
Baby. You know what? I can't wait for October. It's going to be fun.
I know. I hope that the pitching is healthy because, my goodness, the bats are just really something to watch.
Amen. Chris, really appreciate you taking the time to come on with us.
Anytime. Thank you.
Chris Lee, Southeastern 14 and VandySports.com, joining us on the show. We'll take a break, and then we'll talk amongst ourselves about some of what we have put out there already. So stick around. So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
So let's delve into a few SEC questions with the guys while we've got a few minutes. By the way, we will have Underdog picks at 3 o'clock. Willie Donick, Greg Pogue, Kelly Holcomb, yours truly. And by then we will have made a decision as to whether to remove the interim tag on Billy. It'll be a big moment.
George, he didn't have the graphic earlier. I mean, that's still on hold, I would think. Don't you think? I'm just saying.
I mean, we factor everything in.
I think you have to. You have to when something this important, being a commissioner, you've got to factor everything.
We'll see.
I mean, he didn't bring he doesn't bring lighting sometimes. He doesn't bring enough microphones. Didn't get a graphic up. I mean, what are we doing? About as unprofessional as you can get.
Wow.
Yeah, this big producer team is really
What does the team consist of?
Me, myself, and I.
Good answer. Excellent answer. Okay. Put a stop to that one. Are you all buying Spencer Rattler or not? Kelly.
Man, he played good those last couple of games. He's from Oklahoma. He got beat out by Caleb Williams out there. Caleb Williams, obviously a really good quarterback. He was a disgruntled employee, so he entered the transfer portal. He went to South Carolina. He's so inconsistent at times, but I tell you what, against Tennessee and against Clemson, he played really well. I mean, you just talked about his NIL money. They tried to get him to come back and stay, so they accomplished that. So I don't know. You just got to be consistent at that. I think he's one of those guys that he's a dual threat guy, and I don't think he likes to. He obviously can run, but I think he's more of a pocket guy than he is a runner. But he can do both. But I think it's still up in the air, George. He's got to be consistent, and he's got to follow up what he did those last two games of the year and in the bowl. He's got to keep, he's got to keep going on that. I don't see it yet. And I know somebody I think Ricky came on and said that, he was a big dog, but I just don't know. I think time will tell. And I think we need to see more of him doing what he did in the last couple of games of the year.
So Billy, he's going to be on a national spotlight Saturday night with a national quarterback at Carolina in May. Mm-hmm. And it seems to me he better show what he showed those last two games, or they're probably not going to win.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on his shoulders, right? Drake May is a better player. I think Drake May is the better quarterback. He might be the best quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, Spencer Rattler, this is put up or shut up time. I mean, this is it, right? Now, it's not like I'm acting like this is a championship, but this is a huge opportunity. Say you go and beat North Carolina, you out-duel Drake May. I think that changes a lot of the perception around you as a quarterback. But, you're still sort of, the mid quarterback that a lot of people have been touting you as, right? There's a lot of disbelief in him, even though he went out and beat Clemson and Tennessee last year. So we'll see. I'm with Kelly. He's got to go out and do it before any of us crown him as, a legitimate, elite quarterback.
He was able to win over the battle of money because their roster didn't really have anybody up and coming that they knew they could count on. Right. So the timing of what he did was really good. And then the level of opponent. Tennessee and Clemson, that was really good in the South Carolina fan base. But I see them turning on him again, Kelly, if he's not good Saturday night.
Yeah, I do too. And wasn't Tennessee was the number one team going into that game, were they not?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the number one team, so there was a lot of hype with that. And Tennessee folks were, it had been I can remember when South Carolina had never beaten Tennessee, and then I think Steve Spurrier was the one that got over that hump. But Tennessee had everything to lose in that game, and it's kind of a freeing deal as a quarterback when you have nothing to lose. You can just go out there and play, and he did that, and he played excellent. He did it. He followed it up with Clemson. I even picked that in the silly underdog last year. I thought he would do it again, and he absolutely did. So I just think he's just got to be more consistent as a quarterback. He can't turn the ball over, which he's been prone to do sometimes. But that's why we play the game, George. We can sit around and talk about it all we want to, but when the lights come on and when the stadium's full and your other 10 guys on the offense have got to rely on you, what can you do? And we'll see what happens. But he is going up against a guy that, as Billy said, is really good. I remember watching him last year. He was a freshman. Was he a redshirt freshman? I don't remember.
He's terrific.
Yeah, he's really good. I was impressed with just watching him. There's just some guys that's got it, and some guys are always teetering on that line, whereas the Spencer Rattler is. But you can see Drake May as the first time I ever saw him play last year. I'm like, this guy right here is really good. He makes good decisions. He'll hang in there when they miss a block, and he'll make a throw. And he doesn't run around too much, although he can do that. Every quarterback in the country can do that now. But this will be a really good test for him because he's going in as not the big time guy. But we'll see how he plays in this upcoming game.
Kentucky went transfer portal, went to NC State. Are you buying what they've done?
I think that kid's a really good player. I think he's one of those guys. I don't know him well, and I've seen him play, George. I have seen him play, but he just looks like one of those guys that is kind of like the Baker Mayfield. He's he's not a overly sized guy, but he's one of those guys that you could get around. He looks like a really good leader. He's very accurate with the football when he played. I know that he got hurt last year, but I think if he comes on, I mean, Coach Stoops has got they didn't have the kind of season that they wanted last year, but I think he's definitely the guy that can get them over that. And I don't know if they'll win the big games, but they'll be respectable. And I think he's a really good guy because I think he's a good leader, and I think he's got the guys around him, his O-line, his offensive guys. I think they want to play for a guy like that. So, yeah, I do buy that.
Yeah, Leary I'm still in and out on him.
Are you leery?
I'm leery. I'm leery of Devin Leary, but no, Liam Cohen coming back, I think is huge for Kentucky. I mean, he had all that success in year one with Will Levis, but I don't know. I'm waiting on Leary. The receivers are really good though. I mean, they've got Barryon Brown, who's a local kid, Dane Key. I mean, they've got a ton of skill at the receiver position. They got Ray Davis from Vandy, who's really good. We all know how good he did last year. I'm waiting and seeing though. I mean, it's one thing to say, yeah, he's got everything he needs, but you got to go out there and do it. You got to stay healthy. But that was one of the best transfer portal pickups, right there behind Sam Hartman, headed over to Notre Dame. So we'll have to see.
Listen to this one, Kelly. Question number 3. If Texas A&M wins 8 or less, are they really going to fire Jimbo and pay all that money?
No, I don't think so. Do you? 8 or less? I don't know. That's a good question, George, because those big money donors down there want something for what they've paid him. They paid him quite a bit of money. Winning the national title at Florida State, he had Jameis Winston. It just seems like, I don't know. He was forced to go out and get an offensive coordinator this year. And I think that's where, like, is he going to allow Bobby Petrino to do that, or is he going to meddle in that? And it's remains to be seen. What are they going to, like? Bobby Petrino's got his philosophies. Jimbo Fisher's got his philosophies. which one is going to win? Are they going to mix those two together and come up with an offense that is kind of both Jimbo's and Bobby Petrino's, or is it going to just be Bobby Petrino's, or is Jimbo Fisher saying, no, you got to do what I want? So I think that remains to be seen. And I think with the egos involved with that, there's some egos there. Who's going to win out right there? So he was forced to go get an OC. He got a good one. So we'll see how all that plays out. I'm interested to follow that, to be honest.
See if you all buy this. I believe that they hashed all this out ahead of time, and Petrino probably told Jimbo, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, I'll ride off on that motorcycle that got me in all that trouble a few years ago. That was supposed to be funny. But I do wonder, it won't be in week number 1. I don't know who it is they play, but I don't think it's a directional. And I would assume that there will come a point in the season where things are not going great and Jimbo's looking around and Petrino's saying, wait a minute, you told me back in April, and then we're going to know the answer.
It could be another situation, George, and I've been in situations like this where head coaches, when the heat gets on them, they're going to put it on somebody else. And now he's got an offensive coordinator. And now if he gives him total control and then they don't play well, then he's like, well, I mean, y'all wanted that. So now, I can fire him and then we can go back to myself. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this gives him a little time. This is going to be interesting to follow because I know that, Jimbo Fisher's been calling plays for a long time. He was my offensive coordinator when I played in the blue-gray all-star game a long time ago in Montgomery, Alabama, when I didn't have gray hair. It was all brown. And I got to know him just a little bit there under the Terry Bowden guy because Terry Bowden was our head coach. But, he's been calling plays for a long time. And that's kind of hard when you've been doing it for so long, hard to turn over the reins to somebody else. And he's got a good one that's he can call plays too. So I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet from Jimbo. I think Jimbo is declining as a coach. I mean, you look at him on the sideline, he's got the huge play sheet. He's got like 50 different pieces of paper he's messing around with. I mean, it looks ridiculous. And I think players have lost, and I don't know this, but it almost feels like they've lost a little bit of respect. I mean, the quarterback, Wigman's good. We heard a lot about Haynes King, last year too. This kid's legit, and he didn't do anything. He ended up leaving. He's at Georgia Tech now. So I don't know. And they've still got talent. They had talent last year. They were a top 5 team, and they ended up not even making a bowl game. So I'm out on Jimbo. To answer your question though, I don't think they will fire him if he, what was it, under 8, George? I don't think they will.
8 or under.
But I will say this, George. Sorry, Billy. I will say this though. If last year it seemed like that they went downhill. They had one of the top recruiting classes in the country, and they were supposed to do all this. I think they weren't they ranked in the top 5 to begin preseason polls?
Yeah.
So it just seems like, and what Billy, I'm just going to elaborate on what Billy said. It seems like there was a little respect lost there. And when you as a coach lose the team, man, that's hard to get it back. Now, Lane Kiffin talked about that when he was at SEC Media Days, talking about this transfer stuff. Now, it's hard to create a culture there, but if you brought enough, transfers in that don't know what the deal's like, it may be different. But I know this, and it's always happened every time I played. And I've been in places like this where a team loses respect for the head coach. It's over, man. You cannot get it back.
Yeah. Here is an easy rumor to make up at A&M. And this will not be the first time you've heard it, and it won't be the last time. If it starts to crater, watch the guy at Texas San Antonio, because they have been really good. It's basically in their backyard, and there will be little J.R. Ewing wannabes down there calling for that particular move.
And they run an offense similar to Tennessee's. Maybe they want to, see some of that in Aggie land and, get sick of Jimbo's play sheets. And I mean, it's keep an eye on that if they ever go back to him on the sideline. It just, it's like he's studying for a big final exam over there.
He's not looking at that, man. He's too busy yelling at the quarterbacks.
There is a lot of that.
He'll
going
take his
on.
glasses off. He's funny.
He might not be as bad, but he's just as bad as Brian Kelly, man. They get on those, and that's they're the key to your team. The quarterbacks, unfortunately, George. I know you hate hearing this from me, but they're the key to your team. If you got a good one, you can win a game. You can win a bunch of games. If you don't, you're always looking.
Okay, after the break, we'll have stat of the day, and then we'll unveil our first week of Underdog picks with Willie and Pogster and yours truly and Kelly Holcomb. And we'll decide on Billy's future. Is it the interim tag as commissioner, or does he get the full enchilada? Stay tuned.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Top of the hour on a Thursday. It's time now for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what we've got cooked up for today.
I like that.
No, not.
Yeah.
Just show.
Wow, we've got all kinds of.
What in the world is going on?
George, this is another mark against him.
Interim.
However,
let me say this. That machinery he's operating, I'm not sure I'd want to get in the middle of that myself. Would you rather just read us the question?
Yeah, we'll just do that. Clayton Kershaw recorded his 209th career win on Tuesday. Who did he tie for second most in Dodgers history?
Worrell Hershiser.
You're probably right about that. If we assume that Don Sutton is a Dodger, he won 321 games in his career. You know what? Hold on. Let's bring Willie up on this one, because if we butcher it, then we'll force him to butcher it with us.
Not sure why Willie is a black screen right now.
Really? Okay, well, we won't bring Willie in. Is it Orel Hershiser?
No.
Oh,
Lord.
Los Angeles Dodger?
Is it Sandy Koufax?
Koufax didn't pitch long enough.
Did he not? I don't know.
5 or 6 year career before arthritis. Wouldn't be Koufax. Could be Don Drysdale.
Yeah.
Let's go Drysdale.
George, you are correct. Don Drysdale
There you go. Yep.
is the right answer.
Okay. Excellent.
No
Greg
graphic.
doesn't want to play the Dodgers. I can tell you that. He's one of our contestants. So are we ready to bring him up?
We are.
Okay. This is our first edition in 2023 of Underdog Picks. Let's bring the other two contestants to the table. There is Pogu. There is Willie. Oh, look at the 4 screen. This is big. First of all, let's start with Pogi. Oh, very nice. Pogi will be on the call Saturday in South Bend, Tennessee State, and the Fighting Irish. Pogi, we have this scouting report from Coach Lou Holt.
Son, did you know that these guys are coached by the great Eddie George? They're going to be able to run the ball, fellas. They're a really good football team coming into South Bend. I don't know. We'll see if we can beat them. I'm not sure. I don't know why you look at the line. I'm not sure why we're so many points ahead, but they're a really good football team.
Hello, Pogu.
Gentlemen, I'm honored.
Really? Is that so?
Yeah, that is very much so.
Where does this rank on? I mean, this summer you were inducted into the Tennessee Sports Writers Hall of Fame. I mean, does it have that same feel to it?
It's one of the top things I've done this afternoon, yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And Willie, you were a co-Tennessee Sportscaster of the Year, and congratulations on that. So being a part of this, where does this fit into that?
Oh, this is huge, George, because Kelly's impression of Coach Holtz was pretty good. I got to give him that. And I was reminded that when you and I were doing the Vanderbilt games and Vanderbilt played Notre Dame, I interviewed Coach Holtz for the pregame show, and he said that Rob Bauhauer is one of the finest offensive minds in college.
Did he now?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Well,
can I? No. This isn't how. Hold on. This is not how this is start. My last 2 years as the Vanderbilt beat writer for the Banner was the Rod Bauhauer 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We can meet at the local bar, and I can tell you how that went.
Really? Okay.
That's usually where I had the interview, because that's usually where I had to interview him.
Wow. Let's get
he's
to
fired
the
up.
issues. Yeah, boy, he is. Let's get to the issues of the day right off the bat. The first one is we all have to acknowledge Darren McFarland as the 2022 champion. So I want to start off with Darren. If you're watching, and I know you're not, job well done. Way to go. Willie, what would you like to say to Darren?
Well, I would congratulate Darren. He also won another championship the year before on a different competition of the Underdog. So he's got a lot of titles and a lot of it's winning the WBA boxing title and the WBC boxing title at different times in different weight classes. So he's got a lot of belts.
A lot of letters in the alphabet. Pogi, what would you like to say to Darren?
Well, this thing started 30 years ago, and there's so many mutations of it. It's like a biology class. But no, Darren's found a good home.
Okay. Kelly,
congratulations.
Anything you'd like to say to Darren?
No, not really. No, I just because I was on that with him, and that year that he had with us, man, he ran away with that thing. He got like 130 points. It was just stupid. He was winning 2 games every week because we had a college pick and a pro pick, and it was stupid what he was doing. So he's got a bookie. He's got a bookie down in his basement. He figured it out. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Well, here's the deal. Willie is the commissioner on another station that I heard you guys on today.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be the commissioner of this on another station, yet I was defrocked.
Yeah, you've had some bitterness over this. And
it's called defrockment. I've never been defrocked.
Right. But you are TSU's announcer.
Well, but I've been groped as Santa at one of your events. I will say that.
That's many years ago. Let's get to the big important issue. At this moment, Billy Derrick is an interim commissioner. I can remove the tag between now and the first go-round, or it can stay. Willie, you having been a commissioner for so long, I really need your opinion.
I don't think you mean that, but I'm going to say every commissioner, young commissioner, deserves a shot. So I feel like Billy deserves a shot to take the interim tag off.
Billy, would you like to talk to Willie?
Wouldn't they gave him the job when he succeeded Rod Dowhauer. They didn't put the interim tag on him. They gave him a shot. And we all know how that turned out.
How did it turn out?
Not real good.
Should take Willie's advice, George. He's been through a lot as commissioner himself, so he's got the experience. He's one of the best guys to talk to about this.
Pogie, you have been a commissioner, and as you brought up earlier, you were defrocked. So what landmines, if Billy gets the title removed, the interim, what things does he need to concern himself with?
Well, Willie's such a nice guy, so he doesn't need to worry about Willie. Willie wouldn't cheap shot, anybody. Kelly, snake in the grass, country boy, love you all the way out. He grew up on that farm down in Fayetteville where they take people and throw bodies for pigs to eat. I don't trust him.
Wow. Well, there's something I didn't expect to hear.
Pogie, that's kind of messed up. I'm not a snake in the grass. I just tell Billy like it is, man. He's already screwed up 3 times on the show today before y'all came on. So I don't, I'm just holding out judgments. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'll let y'all make the decision, but I don't know how you can be much worse than Willie. Willie, he messes some stuff up, and plus he's never there. I mean, he was there this week, but he'll be gone for 5 or 6 weeks, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, he's got that Predators hobby.
I know that's overrated. That's really overrated for him. So
it's a Predators hobby. It's a good hobby.
On a show earlier today, he said it helped in his resume get the job.
Hey, when you have a theme song and you put commissioner by your name, I would say it carries a lot of weight.
Okay, I have made my decision, and here it is. We are removing the interim tag from Billy, and we are naming him as commissioner. Now, Kelly, you may be asking why.
Yeah.
And here's the answer. Why. I don't have any better replacement.
Oh, man.
It's a very small staff, and really, when we get past Billy and I, there is no other staff.
Well, in other words, he does all the work, in other words.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
It's also an example, George, that you taught me years ago. It's also by default a little bit. So it's like being a member of the Colorado Rockies bullpen, right? If you get a couple of good outings in there, they put you back in there because they don't have anybody else.
It's so true. One scoreless inning can take you from the outhouse to the penthouse in Colorado.
The Braves are having a lot of fun out there right now.
Yeah, they absolutely have mutilated that staff. Okay, so Commissioner Billy Derrick will take over after the break. We'll have our first session. This is college only. Each person will be allowed 1 pick. Billy is commissioner. We'll get it started when we come back. Stay tuned. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yelly cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. By the way, after the Underdog picks, we will talk with Nebraska's marketing and promotions director. Don't know how many people saw it. They drew 92,000 people last night for a women's volleyball game. They did it inside the football stadium. The scene, the pictures from that event are incredible. Brandon Meier will join us around 3:30. Now we take it to newly named commissioner Billy Derrick.
Welcome, everybody, to another year of Underdog Picks. And we start with Mr. Willie Donick.
Why?
Cheers.
Well, I believe I finished last year, so I think I've earned the first pick. Is that right?
Sure.
Already controversy.
Oh,
Billy Derrick.
what is the
Yeah.
problem, Kelly?
Well, why is Willie first?
Well, because I made him first.
This was a test.
Okay, that's fine. So you're not the commissioner. Billy should make that decision.
See, this is what I tried to teach Billy last year when he did have sort of the interim tag. You got to be decisive. You got to say, yes, Willie, you stunk last year, so you got the first pick this year. You got to be decisive as the commissioner, Billy.
Yeah, and that would be fine. I just wanted to know why.
I'm just glad to see Willie, that you're in the game. You don't get to sit on the sideline. That's awesome.
Yeah, I put my neck out there last year, and you see what happened. I got smoked.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear the pick, Willie.
All right, I'm going to feed on the Nebraska vibe, even though they're on the road. That was a pretty incredible sight. 92,000. In fact, they pretty much said they're not going to get that many for any football game this year. Times are tough. It was about this time last year that they lost to Georgia Southern as a 23.5-point favorite, and that was pretty much the end of Scott Frost. But I feel like there's going to be some enthusiasm. They're on the road at Minnesota. I think it's 7.5, but Billy, you can cross-check that. I will go with the Cornhuskers.
So there it is. It is 7.5. So the Cornhuskers 7.5-point underdogs there. That is tonight, 7:00. So Willie rolling with the Cornhuskers. Any questions for Willie there after that pick?
No.
No? All right, we're
It's
good.
early. I mean, look, there'll be some questioning.
All right. Up next, we've got Mr. Kelly Holcomb.
Okay, before you play his music, now why are you hearing no chirping? You got second. What the hell's the problem?
So the new guy goes last. Is that where we're headed?
No, I go last.
Okay,
I'm the
good.
new guy too.
Oh,
Poggy.
Okay,
You've been part
so
of the panel for 5 minutes and you've already started in.
wait. Okay, yeah, I've got some more questions. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my pick, Billy.
Yes, but first you get music.
Country boy can survive. Country boy can survive.
There it is.
I love me some chitlins.
No, I don't, George, because that was in my dorm when I was in college, and I smelled it one time, and I don't want to ever smell that smell again. I'm out on that. Chitlins. I guess I'm going to pick the one I picked earlier today. I'm going to say the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech beat the Louisville Cardinals.
All right.
New quarterback at Georgia Tech. Let's go.
Georgia Tech. And checking the list.
It's a Friday game.
That
it's
is
a 20. It's a 20. Yeah, it's a 20-pointer.
No, it's not.
It's a try.
It's a big 7 spot.
7.5. That is the line right now. So Kelly rolling with the Yellow Jackets there, and Kelly, I thought you were going to go different picks there for both. You go same pick as
yeah. I mean,
I'm
I'm going same pick because if that pick wins, and I know it wins the other one. So I don't know. I have to dive into that a little bit. I've never been on 2 underdogs, so we'll see.
So you might switch the strategy around.
Correct.
If it ends up
Correct.
working. Okay.
Hey, I may start one next week and come on mine.
Okay, that'll be good, Paul. Yeah, that'll be 3. So we'll see.
Hey, Jeff Brom, his first. I think this is a good pick. I had this in my top 4. Jeff Brom's first coaching job on the road, Georgia Tech. They went deep in the portal. They had players coming in from Power 5s. I think this is a good pick, that first game. Georgia Tech maybe late in the season, no, but Louisville out of the gate, a conference game on the road, that's a good pick.
I'm not quite sure why this one's at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, though.
There could be some red spots.
Some empties.
Yeah, there could be. Sections.
Georgia Tech hasn't fared well there. We'll see if they can bounce back. Kelly, your pick is the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So we'll have to see there. All right. Up next is Greg Pogue.
Can I ask a question, though, first? This is larger than this.
Hold on. We've got your music. What the hell is that?
It's great.
That is the Milwaukee Brewers first place fight song, bro.
Yeah. Great.
All right. I got a question. I see your TV commercials Sunday nights on News Channel 5.
Yeah.
And it starts out with Watson, who is one of the greatest offensive minds of the past 40 years of college, football, passing it to Kelly Holcomb, MTSU Hall of Famer, 14-year NFLer, and then the person who finally catches the ball is you, Plaz. First, how many takes did it take for you to catch the ball?
One.
And glad you weren't shown throwing it.
Actually threw it pretty good, Bogey. I was quite surprised when I went down there that day. He was throwing the football really well, and I of course he doesn't have much athleticism, but he did catch it on the first time. The baseball.
Okay, that's all. I will go back on my show and quit making fun of him. All right.
Your TV commercials coming out.
Award winners, baby.
Sure.
Yeah. I like UConn. I'm going big, and I'm not going home. UConn plus 14 at home against NC State. Last year, Jim Mora Jr. did a great job. They beat Boston College. They beat Fresno State. They have more returning players of any team in FBS. And first time, went to a bowl in like whatever. And NC State's quarterback's at Kentucky. They got a new quarterback from Virginia. I'm going big at home with the Huskies plus 14.
Okay, so rolling
It's a good
with the Huskies. Over NC State. That one is in Connecticut. We'll see.
Yep, home game. Yep.
See what the crowd's like there. So, all right, we got 3 down and 1 to go. And I wonder who's up next. We've got George Plaster.
You can do that with your cell phone.
Tall version of the tomahawk shot.
Shocker.
Well, that's original.
You're supposed to do it with your phone on the phone and the light now, George, like all those guys do now.
Oh, that's right. I could have done that. Poggy,
Somebody would need to show him how.
Poggy, when was the last time your team?
Does iPhone 1 have the light on the phone?
Excuse me?
Does iPhone 1 have a light that you can turn on?
That might actually be a good question, Willie.
Poggy, I got a question for you because you've been chirping up a lot about the Brewers. When was the last time they flew a world title flag?
No, it's easy to, you had a long period of in the desert. My team I went to all 7 games of the 82 World Series, and they didn't go to a playoff game the next 26 years. I did not abandon them. I didn't leave Sid Bream scoring early.
Ooh, wow. But I stuck around long enough to see Jim Leyritz.
No, hey, right now, 250 home runs and Acuna, a 30-60 guy. They're amazing. They really are. And I tell you what, though, they got the Dodgers, 4? The Dodgers are only 4 back. The Dodgers only 4 back.
Well, let's get to it, though. We could see Brewers Braves in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
That will add some spice to this segment.
Willie, who did I take on a local radio show today?
Today,
Toledo
Rockets. Yep.
I wanted to hear it from Willie. It obviously didn't mean much to him.
Well, I have it down. That's why I write things down.
Well, we're going with them again. The Toledo Mud Hens.
At Illinois.
At Illinois in Champaign.
Yes.
That is a 9.5-point line there. Can I ask why you picked Toledo?
Because they're going to win.
Is there any reasoning behind this?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Look, once you go MAC, you can't ever go back.
You just wanted to say that, didn't you?
I really did.
Hey, Illinois, watch out for Illinois as Poggy goes black on us.
Oh.
I think Illinois got
he had enough.
What happened there, Poggy?
Poggy's in and out.
Yeah.
He was making fun of you about the phone, and now he can't work his.
Now he can't work his. So do we have review of the picks? That would be the final thing.
Hey, I got a question, though. Why did Willie not have why did he not have any music? I mean, he's already down. Like this commissioner, what are we doing here? He didn't have any music.
He did have music. You wouldn't shut the hell up where we could hear the Mets.
No, I didn't submit it right away. to the commissioner as I was
Exactly.
told to do. So I was tardy on that.
What? We
I
picked
have
something
submitted.
for you. Meet the Mets.
Right, and I submitted that as my theme minutes ago.
Right. They suck.
I've never heard it.
Yeah.
Billy, would you like to review the picks?
Well, I'm trying to play Willie's song right now, but
it's not
We have a
coming up
break
the way it should.
it's taking a little
Willie
bit.
lets you and I sing it. You ready?
I think your words are going to be different than my words, though. You
Perhaps.
like to change the lyrics of Meet the Mets.
Okay, let's review.
Ride up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really socking the ball.
We're socking that ball, George. We're only about 12 games under 500 right now. It's the biggest payroll in baseball.
All right,
The bullpen sucks.
We're
You
paying a lot of
need
guys
Walker
right now to
Rock?
play for other teams. That's always a good strategy.
Yeah.
Oh man, always good. All right, so let's review. We'll go in order. Willie Donick has selected Nebraska to cover, not just cover, but win tonight against Minnesota. That is a 7.5-point line. So Willie riding with the Huskers tonight. Moving on, Kelly Holcomb. Kelly Holcomb is riding with Georgia Tech. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. That is tomorrow night in Atlanta against Louisville. Georgia Tech, 7.5-point underdogs there. All right, Greg Pogue. And Pogie, I forgot to mark yours, and this is the first.
Oh, God.
This is the first error.
Here we go, Billy.
He takes the Huskies. UConn.
Oh,
Hey,
yes, UConn. UConn.
Hey, I got defrocked for less. Okay, so be careful.
What did you get defrocked for?
Just George woke up one morning and he thought defrocked was a cool word.
So we don't even know what
Thank
actually
you.
happened. Okay, so Pogie rolling with UConn. They are plus 14. And then George Plaster rolling with Toledo. 9.5-point underdogs against Illinois.
Once you go Mac, can't ever go back. Gentlemen and Kelly, thank you for being with us.
See you guys.
See y'all.
See you next week. Willie?
All right. We're off
Good
in the
stuff.
West.
Yes. Okay, after the break, we're going to find out how in the world Nebraska put 92,000 people in their football stadium for a women's volleyball game. There has to be an incredible story behind all this, and we will find out about it when we come back.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between. Discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Okay, we are back, and in this sea of football that is coming with games tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday, we had an event last night that just blew everybody's mind that has seen it. Billy, I don't know, can you put one of the pictures up there that you have? Take a look at what went on last night at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. They put 92,003 people in that place for a women's volleyball game. It's one of the all-time incredible marketing stories I have ever seen. So this morning, inquiring minds wanted to know, and I contacted Brandon Meier, who is the Senior Associate Athletic Director in charge of marketing at the University of Nebraska. Brandon, thank you for taking the time. I know you're on your way to Minnesota, so I really appreciate what you've done here.
No problem, guys.
So how in the world did this come to happen? Whose idea was it? And kind of lead me through the timeline of it.
Yeah, about 9 months ago, our athletic director and our volleyball coach kind of got together and had this idea to host a volleyball match in our stadium. He kind of walked in my office and said, "Hey, here's our general idea. You know, let's come up with some details and dates and opponents and layouts of the stadium, and let's kind of conceptualize what this thing is going to look like." And from there, it was kind of born. And 9 months later, we were blessed with an awesome night, and what an event we had.
Oh, my God. Brandon, when they first came to you with this, privately, was there a mental eye roll like, are you kidding?
For sure. I mean, I think in the back of our minds, we, there was lots of worry of weather, even from the coach. John Cook, our head volleyball coach, kind of rolled his eyes and said, what if it's too hot? What if it's not safe? What if it's too windy? We need those volleyball matches to count. We can't afford to have one of our matches canceled. And so, no, there was lots of stars that had to align, and we had to get a great night from Mother Nature. But man, hats off to our Husker faithful. They showed up last night and bought tickets. They sold the place out in just over 24 hours. And man, what an awesome night for women's athletics to set the all-time world record for attendance. Man, even for me personally, I have a daughter in 4th grade, and we got home and she said that was one of the coolest things I've ever been to. So it was neat.
We're looking at pictures of it right now as you talk, and it just blows my mind what I'm seeing. So did you all kind of, I'm guessing in the spring, roll this out to Husker Nation and say, look, we want to set a Guinness Book of World Records or whatever. We don't want to do this and have, 2,400 people show up?
No, it was never about the records. It was really about celebrating volleyball in our state. We've got such a rich history of volleyball in the state of Nebraska, And that's what it originally was about. It was just about celebrating volleyball, giving our fans a chance to, participate in something, giving them a cool experience, trying something new. I mean, hats off to our athletic director, who had this bold vision and there was a lot of risk involved. There was a lot of money spent and time and effort to do this. And there was risk, right? If it would have rained, if the wind was over a certain amount, this may not have happened. But he was willing to take that risk. And man, what a reward last night to see it all come together.
Absolutely love it. Kelly Holcomb is part of this show. Kelly, what do you got for Brandon?
Brandon, how much more work went into it than just a normal volleyball game?
Oh my goodness! It was like hosting a concert. It was like doing a football game. We sold alcohol in Memorial Stadium for the first time at a Nebraska athletics event. Adidas put on a rally in our Coliseum near the stadium. It was crazy. Trev said it in another interview, but we actually probably set 2 records. The first game between Wayne State and Kearney that we had at 4:30 probably easily had 30,000 people at it, and that alone set the NCAA volleyball record. So it was special for sure.
You guys are obviously the first that's going to do this, but everything's copycat. How many more people do you think will copycat this?
I don't know. I'm just we're just blessed to do it and blessed that our fans came out to support it. And I'm sure I think our friends in Iowa are talking about having a basketball match. And but listen, if they do, and if they bring them out for a women's athletics event, that's great. Our records are made to be broken, right? And I hope somebody breaks it. But I'll tell you, there's not a lot of venues that can hold 92,000 people out there that could even host an event like this. So,
yeah, that was a pretty cool deal, and congratulations on that. I know, didn't y'all get more? Y'all got more people in the stadium there than you had a football game because you could put people around put people on the infield.
We did. We sold 7,000 tickets on the infield, mainly to students. We could have probably put more down there, but our fire marshal limited us to 7,000 tickets on the stadium floor. But looking at the pictures, I sat there last night thinking, man, we could have probably got another 7,000 down there if he would have allowed it. So we had a concert after the match by Scotty McCreary. And he was terrific. He met with the girls the night before. Man, all around, it was just a fun night.
Brandon, before we let you go, when did you know in your heart or in your mind maybe, okay, this thing is going to go beyond anybody's wildest dreams. It is going to knock it out of the park?
I've been fortunate since I started working at Nebraska about 5 years ago to be a part of the Garth Brooks on sale and watched them sell out Memorial Stadium in about 2 hours. They sold 90,000 tickets. The difference was in the Garth Brooks deal, people had to pre-register their credit card so that they could process them quicker, right? I knew it was going to be crazy in that first hour when I started seeing our ticketing system just it can only handle so many people trying to buy tickets at one time.
Right.
And I'm sitting there watching the screen going, oh my gosh, like we are selling thousands of tickets every 10 minutes. Like this isn't going to take long to sell out. And then we started thinking, well, crap, we haven't even opened up one end of our end zone yet. We better start thinking about, we had kind of planned for, hey, if this works, it's going to be 60,000 people. And we'll have kind of, an end stage set or an end zone. We'll have the end zone empty. And, man, it didn't take more than about 8 hours and we started figuring out how to open up that end zone. And then the complicated piece was okay, how do we have this concert? Does he play on a rotating stage? How do we make sure that everyone in the stadium has a great experience? And so it was fun.
Oh.
We had a drone show in between the concert and the stadium that kind of displayed the record. That was neat. I've never been a part of a drone show. So it was fun for me when our athletic director says, make it an awesome night. And, I don't really have a budget to work with. From a marketing perspective, we can do some really cool things.
Oh, no kidding. So will you all do this again next year?
I hope not. That
was a very honest answer.
No, there was I don't think there's any plans to do it again right now. I mean, right now we're just kind of still trying to clean up the stadium and get ready for our first football game. But now who knows what the future will hold. But right now we're just happy that last night went off without a hitch, and amazed at the national attention that this event has got. And, just so cool to see the smiles on our volleyball girls' faces last night and our coaches' faces. And there was a few moments throughout the night where my wife was in the crowd and said, look, there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. There was just, I can't describe it. It was just a cool feeling to think that all these people showed up for, a volleyball game and showed up to support women's athletics. And it says it in our fight song, but there's no place like Nebraska.
Brandon, first of all, thank you so much on very short notice. I know what's going on. You've got a football game tonight in Minneapolis, and for you to agree to do this, I can't tell you how much I appreciate. And secondly, you tell Trev Alberts there's a goofball in Nashville that says you need to get a raise.
I will tell him. Yeah, my pleasure, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to come on with you.
Brandon, thank you. That's Brandon Meier. He is Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Nebraska, in charge of marketing. And believe me, he ought to have that front and center stage on that resume. Oh, yeah, by the way, I led a deal that had 92,000 people at a women's volleyball game. Amazing story.
Amazing. I cannot believe that.
The
pictures were crazy, man.
Oh, unbelievable.
The way they just attached it with a concert casually too. I mean, that's just the marketing savviness was really cool to hear about. And I know it was funny. He said he didn't want to have to do it again, but I'm sure they will.
They could have got more people on that field too.
Oh yeah,
it does look that way. It looks like you could get close to 100.
100,000, no question.
He hinted at Nebraska and Iowa doing a basketball game there potentially. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, it's tough weather.
That'll be a little bit chillier.
I never thought about the wind issue.
Get some heaters out there.
That's an issue.
Yeah. We ready, George?
I think we are. Go ahead, and then I'll begin
Durham,
the gloating.
Injury law brings us bet of the day. Final segment of the day. Call them at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. We check first what happened last night. Another win, another baseball win. But Kelly, we're about to get some football here tonight.
I don't know, man. He's on a hot streak, Billy. I don't know if it's going to phase him with this football stuff, man.
Is he working with some good mojo here, or what's going on?
He's obviously got an in with somebody, man. Are you doing this yourself, George?
This isn't normal.
Absolutely, I am.
This is yourself. You're not asking anybody's help or advice or anything.
I don't need anybody's help in baseball. I watch more baseball than anybody you know.
Probably do.
But it doesn't always work this way, believe me.
I know that, but you're definitely on a hot streak right now.
So let's see if we can keep it up. I have picked 3 games tonight on the college football level. Okay, the first one you may be sitting there going, why? I'll give you a why.
Plus 37.
Plus 37. Okay, last I checked, a year ago, Central Florida wasn't all that good. John Rice Plumlee, the former Ole Miss Rebel, is their quarterback. A year ago, extremely inconsistent. If Kent shows up, I'm going to win that one.
If they get off the bus?
Yeah. If not, you might want to go with Central Florida at halftime.
That's an awful big line. Good gracious.
Yeah, it is. And what I remember a year ago, Kent put some points on the board. They scored 10-14 tonight.
They had a really good OC. He's at Colorado now. And he was
with Dion.
With Dion. Yeah. He was one of the best in the country. So we'll see how they do with this big line.
Okay, the second one obviously is the game of the night involving Utah and Florida. First of all, Utah is one of the most mentally tough teams that I have seen in the last 5 years. Nobody wants to screw with Utah. They say Cam Rising isn't playing. I don't believe it. But even if he's not, I don't think Florida's that good. I just don't.
But George, if they, Billy said earlier, if the Rising kid's not playing and their backup is hurt too, they're going to the third guy.
And the third guy who ended up having to play in the Rose Bowl a year ago, and I think it was Ohio State they played. He got his hat handed to him.
He sure did.
That concerns me. However, Utah can run the football, and I think they're going to win the game by a touchdown. You may be saying George has lost his marbles. However, I am 28-13, and don't you forget it. The last one is Minnesota at home. I'm taking the Golden Gophers. They'll row that stupid boat that they keep talking about. Nebraska isn't there yet. Listen, they got a really good football coach in the offseason, and he will turn it around, but he won't turn it around tonight. It's going to take a while. They don't play any defense.
Yeah, I think by the end of the season, they could be a lot better, but it's still really early.
Kelly, what do you think of those?
I think they're pretty good. I mean, that's an awful big line for Kent State. That's hard to get beat by 37 points. Good gracious, just roll over a little bit and have a pulse.
Walk and
make a couple of plays. Now, I don't know about the Florida game. We'll see. I mean, we'll see on the Florida game. I think you're right about the Minnesota, though. I think they'll beat Nebraska. I don't think they're there yet. But I didn't realize when you were talking to the Brandon Meier guy, I didn't realize that Trev Alberts, I forgot that he was the AD there. And I was fortunate, kind of unfortunate, to go out there to play Nebraska when they were number one. My freshman year, we played Florida State. They were number one. Then we went out and played the Black Shirts back in the day with Tom Osborne. And it was 14-7 at halftime. But I can remember that was the only game in my life that I was sore before the game was over with. And it was in large part because of Trev Alberts. And Trev Alberts was a teammate of mine when I first went to Indianapolis. And I'm like, dude, you didn't really have to do that to me. That was ridiculous that you hit me so bad. But I was literally sore before the game was over with, George. Crazy.
Well, as you know, he's beloved in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Got the AD job with no AD experience. He was a broadcaster. He was an ESPN broadcaster, and I thought a pretty darn good one. But 92,000 at a women's volleyball game. My God, he ought to give that guy a raise.
And it was his vision? That's incredible.
How much money, I should have asked this. How much money do you think they took in last night for a women's volleyball game? I mean, it had to be.
Tickets probably weren't incredibly expensive. That's the thing you probably need to think about.
But still.
Beer
doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. And did all that go to the women's volleyball?
Who knows? Brandon may not even know. But I'll tell you this. I mean, that had to be a $3 to $4 to $5 million evening for Nebraska athletics.
There's no question, George. That's what I was just. I mean, just think if it was $5. I mean, if it was $5 a ticket, which is pretty cheap, they're almost making $500,000. That's right. It's close. I mean, yeah, and plus beer sales and all that stuff. That's
There's going to be a lot of other ADs.
A lot of copycats.
Yeah,
A
around
lot of
around the
copycats. That's
country.
why I asked that, because there are going to be other schools doing that. Like if you had a basketball game in a big, like say you had a basketball game in Neyland Stadium. I mean, like people that's cool to come see. Like it's the first time that's ever happened. That was cool last night. That was unbelievable.
Well,
I'll say this though:
the lightning is an issue that they got lucky to not deal with.
Well, but I'll say this too: Nebraska's a special place.
Yes,
and don't just think any fan base could do that.
No,
that's not easy to do. So that's another thing you got to think about. You got to get 92,000 people to go watch a volleyball or a basketball game. So that's something else. Give credit to that fan base.
Tomorrow, without Kelly, we'll have Football Friday from Nashville Christian. Hope a lot of you will tune in. We'll have some fun over there. Jeff Brothers is their head coach, and he will join us to start the show. Kelly, we will see you on Tuesday.
Oh, we're off Monday, Labor Day. Okay, all right. Hey, have we got 1,000 subscribers yet?
We're getting there.
We're at 967.
We're getting there. I mean, Billy, let's go. Figure it out. Come on. Do an ad campaign or something. Let's go. Out of your own money, out of your own pocket.
Get Jameson to tell everybody at Troy or something. We need to get something easy.
Create a volleyball game and then make the announcement.
Are you telling everybody at Nashville Christian tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely.
Is the sky blue?
Sweet. Hey, George has no shame, dude. I love it. That's what I love about George. He has no shame. Dude. He could care less. He's gonna ask.
Kelly, you behave. Have a good weekend.
See y'all.
Commissioner. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See all of you tomorrow from Nashville Christian. Join us for Football Friday.